Back in live and inside the game here on the National Soccer Network, as well as Sports Nation TV here on NSN. 261 horns. That's what we need now that we're on 261.
I had to make up for yesterday. Had to get all those.
That's true. But appreciate you guys joining us again. Again, took yesterday off. It was a really busy weekend with the Major League Indoor Soccer and Women's Major League Indoor Soccer Championships. So I had to take a day aside. Hopefully Tanner and Kevin both got the rest as well. But now we're back to it here today after yesterday.
Kevin got to work right away.
That's right. Well, Kev did say that Saturday was going to be his off day. So I guess it's true. I mean, when you're in the middle of the week, it's tough to not, especially when you're in sports. You know how it works. We got to get right back to it. But yeah, it has been a busy stretch. So we appreciate you guys. Just the one day aside. Now we're back at it and going into the end of the week. So it should be a good finish to the week, all things considered. But I wanted to start here, Ryan.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hi,
all
Dad.
right.
Thanks for checking in from Jekyll Island. You didn't have to write Jekyll Island, Georgia, like it's a postcard.
Well,
good to see you too, Dad. Hopefully you and Mom are having fun out there.
Well, he had to specify, and for the rest of the people, maybe they don't know, but are they having fun on
that one, Dad?
They having fun on vacation? You talk to them at all? What they've done?
Sounds like they're having fun. Been on the beaches, restaurants. Got my souvenir golf balls. That's all I cared about. So,
oh boy,
appreciate you.
Ryan
guys.
was telling me about a collection that he had before we started talking a little bit here today. A souvenir golf ball collection. Does not use any of these for obvious reasons. He would probably lose a few members of his collection, but he's got a few of them. He's got a few good ones in there.
Dad. That's what grammar's important. Do we have to go about what happened in school? Do we have to? Who had the better GPA and all that fun stuff?
Oh, you knew you had a better GPA than your father did? Really?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we know that.
Hey, man. Not everybody's good at school. Some people are smart in other ways. I mean, C's get degrees, dude. You just got don't tell the kids I said that, but it is true.
Look at your pen. Put your pen back up on the screen.
It's not even there.
Oh, mine doesn't have it.
Oh.
Now, since
what
I
happened
moved
to your other
around
one?
in the studio, it doesn't have the same effect anymore.
Oh, okay. A little bit. Yeah, I can see it a little bit, but But anyways, hope the Glinsky clan is having fun on vacation, and anybody else that's out and about. I think it is spring break time, so I guess everyone's kind of enjoying their time away. I feel like 99% of people from Michigan end up going to Florida, but anywhere else you are around around the world here.
I took English 201 twice, and I went to school for 5 years. I had a COVID year. Yes, because COVID years were a thing back in the 90s, Dad.
So he knows a lot about English.
Yes.
That's funny, COVID year. Yeah, they also didn't have 6, 7, 8-year players back then, too, at least when it comes to the athletic
6, 7 wasn't even a meme back then either.
We didn't have any of that stuff. Wonder what the big meme was back in his day. We gotta figure that out.
A saying or a phrase or like
it's gotta be
a thing that you guys did.
Any social media trends back in your day, Mr. Glinsky?
Social media.
Anything you got in on? Any dances
or anything?
Any
media trends besides big hair and like a ton of hair product and hairs?
Yeah, there you go. That's funny. But getting into our show a little bit here today, I wanted to mention this before we talk about the inevitable, which we have to get to at some point here, which is the U.S. men's national team in Portugal. 6 unanswered goals after they started off the first game against Belgium with the opening goal. Ever since then, nothing, no dice for the U.S. men's national team. But I wanted to say this first. In under a week's time, Ryan Glinsky, 2 things have happened here to Sports Nation and Premier Media Group and the National Soccer Network. First, we got the Tigers using us in their hype video for Kevin McGonigal, which was unbelievable. That caught me out of nowhere. I know we talked a lot about him leading up to the Tigers season, and obviously the Tigers have been disappointing as of late, lost 3 straight, now they're 2-3, but Kev is who he is. And then one of the top NBA draft prospects in college basketball right now, the best player on the University of Michigan, and will be playing in the Final Four on Saturday. Yaxel Lendenborg left a comment in one of our videos of you talking about how we need to media train him because he was doing a little trolling after the Alabama game, talking about a freshman guarding him. And that is hilarious. I will say that is funny.
Yeah, no, it was so a lot of my friends and a lot of our videos, again, drop us a follow at obviously Nat Soccer Network and obviously here on Sports Nation as well. Sorry, I was scrolling through mock drafts, dude. The photo they use of Adai Mara, bro, just doesn't do him any justice. It's his UCLA photo, and he just looks like a little kid. But anyway, um, yeah. So a lot of my friends, whenever like my videos, like they never like the videos. They just view the videos, and they only like the videos when there's a ton of comments because it's usually like making fun of me, and then they can use that later on as like ammo to try to make fun of me for whatever reason, or like make fun of me in the group chat, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And one of them texted me last night and goes, "Dude, you made it. Yaxel commented on your video." And I'm looking like I thought maybe it was like one of the most recent ones. I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" He goes, "Okay, let me screen record it." Screen records it, and it's the media training video. And all he says is, "I just be trolling." And I'm like, "Fair enough, man." Like that's cool because
Yeah.
that video, I think, because he commented on TikTok, because that whole video, I think, I'm gonna try to pull it up. I think it had, I think 228,000 views on Sports Nation TV, which we just hit
Crazy.
518 here this morning. But yeah, it is. Where is he at?
Wow.
Okay, it's Will Wade, so that means it's got to be coming up. Okay, yeah, 229.6K views, 25,000 likes, 400. Now, it just gained 4 comments since I clicked on it, 406 comments, and 802 views. The video didn't even start off that big either. It just started off with like some
Mm-mm.
people being like, "Yeah, that's funny." Like, glad someone said it. Like, he's like, whatever. Then it just turned into like Michigan State arguments in the comment section. And I'm just
Oh,
like,
you know it does.
I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, like didn't
Yeah.
expect that. And the
Yep.
and the point of the video is like, man, I've never heard someone say like, yeah, I had a freshman guard me. That's disrespect. But hey, if you got to get into like a Yaxel, if you're watching, if you got to get to like a
Uh,
delusional state of mind or something to help us win a national championship, dude, do it. Just say more stupid stuff, and I'll make some
yeah.
more videos on it. And hopefully they pop off. But yeah, dude,
Well, you've
inside the
heard
game
it.
is popping off.
Oh, I mean, we've heard we've heard college. I mean, we've heard NBA players be like, "Oh, you have that guy guard me. That's disrespectful." Blah blah blah. But yeah, it's they are definitely trolling. They play loose, man. They play loose. They play fun. And sometimes it maybe carries over into the post game a little bit, but I gotta say, I mean, I kind of like how Dusty May lets them do their shenanigans. Like you gotta allow a little bit of that in order to get the most out of your guys. I think he's a great players coach, to be
He
honest with you. I mean,
he
I'm
did.
sure he probably said something to Yaxel after that, but yeah.
Yeah, no. After that comment was made, Yaxel went like, and Dusty was like, "Come on, man, come on." And
What are we
and
doing
then
here?
the funny part is when they do like all their post game interviews, there
Oh,
was so right before the Tennessee game when they beat Iowa State, they Jacoby Gillespie was asked like, "Got anything for Michigan?" And he's
oh,
like, "Let's go get them."
let's
And
go
then
get him.
Mrez was sitting there, and the guy goes, "Mrez, you got anything? Let's
Let's
go
go
get
get him.
them." Like they take every little like, again, it's not even like that
Oh,
much of a douchey thing from Tennessee, but
yeah.
they take every little comment to heart. So
I
yeah,
will I
and
will say this, they pay attention. Like it now, especially nowadays with like social media and all that stuff and how quickly things can go viral and get a lot of attention. Like they pay attention. And so it's
hopefully he
yeah,
mentions me in his press game
it's funny.
his pregame presser this week. Yeah, bro, that one guy, that one guy who's in his mom's basement. Yeah, screw him.
Yeah, that
Me,
guy.
me,
Yeah,
me
that
being
guy.
media trained. Come on now. Now,
Yeah.
a group of people I hope would start listening to things. Christian Pulisic in the U.S. men's national team.
So, okay, so sorry, I got to say this before we get to our stuff. I know we're damn near 10 minutes in. I had a dream a couple nights ago.
Martin Luther King.
Not that kind of dream. Close though. You and me were downtown somewhere. I don't know what town I don't know if we were in Detroit. I don't know if we were in Grand Rapids. I have no idea where we were. We were walking somewhere. And Mauricio Pochettino is like in front of us and he's like walking up the steps to go in somewhere and he's just got 2 guys with him. No press, no media, nothing else around. And we're like, and I look at you, I'm like, is that Poach? And you're like, yeah, I think that's Poach. So we walk up to him, we're like, hey, Poach. We wanted to say hi to him. And he goes, you guys. He goes, I don't like you guys. And then he turned around and walked away and I woke up. I kid you not, that was the entire dream. He's like, I don't like you guys. You guys suck. Go away. And then and then I woke up. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a vision of what the future is or if he genuinely hates us and listens to our show. It could be. He's not going to like this next part, but it very well could be that Poach actually knows us. So wild dream.
That'd
I
be
don't like the
cool.
fact that I'm thinking about Pochettino in my dreams. It's
You eat, breathe, and sleep soccer. Apparently,
I'm just depressed, man. I'm just morbidly depressed. All right, let's get into the soccer conversation a little bit here on Inside the Game. United States falling to Portugal 2-0 yesterday to wrap up what has been this brief international window in the lead up to the World Cup after falling obviously to Belgium 5-2 in that game. This was a matchup that in a lot of ways was handled by Portugal, right? They had over 60% of the possession. They controlled the flow of the game a lot. However, I will say opportunities not as lopsided as you would think. 3 shots on goal for the U.S., 5 for Portugal, 11 total shots for Portugal, 12 for the United States. So they actually technically outshot the Portuguese in that game. And the one thing that I'll say, Ryan, I think everyone gets more of a kick out of my videos when I go into freak out mode, because it's just more entertaining, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, because I think American fans can relate to the pain, but at the same exact time, I think maybe the European brethren and other people across the world enjoy watching it simply because they want to see Americans crash out, because they like seeing us get humbled and whatever it may be. And obviously soccer is just the latest example of it. But it's really hard for me to get that like gusto and be like, oh, pissed off about something when your expectations are not in a place to where you're disappointed. It's the whole thing. It's the theme of what we've talked about on this show. Like, if you never want to get disappointed, put your expectations on the floor. And then anything above that is considered an improvement, right? Going into the Belgium matchup, because again, we had mentioned it going in, we hadn't seen all the big dogs all on the field together playing with one another. We hadn't seen the team in action in quite a while. So it was like this again, there's like this refreshed, renewed kind of energy and spirit around it. And then after that Belgium game, and not only that, but hearing Mauricio Pochettino and Tim Ream go, oh yeah, we've stepped up the intensity in training now after we got waxed 5-2, as if that hasn't constantly been a thing. It's like you become emotionally numb to it. And that's the point kind of right now that I'm at with the U.S. men's national team, is that I'm trying to look for silver linings, and I'm talking objectively and I'm talking calmly, mostly because I don't have the energy left to crash out anymore. Like that, what are we going to crash out about? Like, this has almost kind of become what it is. And I said this in the video yesterday, and I truly believe it. If we were any more quality in the attacking third as a country and as a men's national team, we would be able to hang around in these games with these top 10 teams in the world. But that is the major difference from what I saw in that game yesterday between us and the remainder of the world and teams like Portugal. Like I saw a play by Bruno Fernandes and one of the assists that he had in that game where it was just like eyes in the back of his head, put it on a silver platter, and you got 4 USA kits just standing around him, and
yeah.
the guy ends up scoring. I mean, that is the massive, massive difference, massive divide between us and everybody else. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Ryan. Christian Pulisic was a disappointment yesterday. He got a player rating of 3 out of 10. I know he was in an unnatural position as a striker. He wasn't in his normal position, but when you get out on runs like he got out on a few different times, especially in that first half, if you're Christian Pulisic, you got to find a way to at least do something and put some sort of pressure on and not take some sort of stupid yellow card.
Yeah,
Because listen, Captain America, like I realize, maybe we overhyped you a little bit at one point in time, but you have to be better than that. And that was the part to me, Ryan, that was just so glaring, because we did have good builds. We did have good chances. Jedi put a cross in that literally passed 2 of our guys, including Weston. He just swung and missed it. And that's when it was tied at 0-0. If we were any better in the attacking third, this would be a different conversation, but we just don't have the quality in that part of the pitch. And so that is when we watch them play against these teams, if they can ever figure that part out, I'm serious when I say they may have a chance to compete with some sides that they're not normally would have no business being in the game with. But that's my biggest takeaway from that. And obviously, the other part is too, and I'll let you get a few words in here because I know we're already 15 minutes in. but we need Pulisic to be better. And frankly, and I know we're going to talk about this, and I'll let you expand on this. I'm done with the experimenting. I'm done with trying things. I'm done with putting new guys that like I'm is we have run out of time for the most part to really figure this out. And again, injuries aside, because I know Cardoso was experiencing discomfort after the Belgium game, so that's a big thing moving forward. But yeah, man, it's just what can be said that hasn't already been said. I'm not sure.
So one thing that hasn't been said or one thing I can say that hasn't been said yet about the whole final third thing, and I mentioned this on the TikTok live, which was a lot of fun yesterday with all the USA Mexico fans in there. That was a lot of fun. Is in the final third, because there were times where when I was on the phone with my parents and the game was on, and there was in that 10-minute conversation there was 2 opportunities where I'm like, dude, just shoot the ball, man, like shoot it. And it took me back to a phrase that I forgot the guy's name, but he's a trainer from Germany that trained. I was in a couple training sessions with a couple of my high school teammates, and he used to say, like in our training sessions, because he's from Germany, he used to say typical American, and what that meant is there's a saying about American soccer players. That is, they take the extra touch, they take the extra skill move instead of just letting that thing fly, instead of just shooting the ball. Like American soccer players typically just have to make that extra thing to make it sexier, I guess, or maybe sell it a little bit
aesthetically
more.
pleasing.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing that I saw a handful of times. It's like, Tim Way, dude, you're inside the box. Let that thing go. I get it. You're playing right back.
Shoot the damn ball. Yes.
Pulisic, same thing. Just shoot it. Like we don't have to make that extra pass, man. Like we've only scored 2 goals in 180 minutes. So we gotta score, and we've given up 7 in 180 minutes. So just let the thing go. And the point of the experimenting thing, the only experiment that I thought was truly fine was the Mckennie thing where Pulisic would then drift into the 10 role, and then Mckennie would go in behind. I never minded that. But the thing is you don't really have to experiment with that. You should have just started Flo or any other striker and then just kept Pulisic on the field. You could have done the same thing, but just have a proper striker in the rotate or in the starting 11. Like that's what you do. And the whole thing about experimenting, it's like, dude, you realize you only have like 2 more games before you even go into the World Cup. Like we can't be doing this. And another thing that's just confusing to me about this whole window, and we'll probably talk about the whole window here soon. It's like, dude, we played so well with a back 3 or back 5, whatever you want to refer to as. Like I thought we were really gonna play that way. I thought we were gonna be set up that way. And Poch clearly was just like, all right, screw that, I guess. Like, let's just play my way. Apparently, it's just like it didn't make sense like at all to me of how well we played in the back 3 and the back 5 formation back in the fall, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't happen. It made 0 sense to me whatsoever. And then with I forgot the other point that you mentioned about it, but I was gonna get into it. But no, it makes no sense in our goalkeeping situation. All right, Matt Freese is number 1. Matt Turner, dude, that guy stinks. He was awful. Matt Freese made a couple really good saves yesterday. Matt Turner didn't do anything really at all. Like this team, it just I don't know anymore. Like this is just they're just not good. I guess the only thing where I can kind of that makes a little bit of sense is if you wanted to, again, if we were to make a run, you'd have to beat one of these teams in the round of 16 or quarterfinals or whatever. Then you maybe he's trying to figure something out for that game in the round of 16 or something. That's the only way I can even just kind of think, okay, Poch, I guess I know what you're doing here. But the issue is we still got to win the group, and we still got to get out of the round of 32 before we even get there. Yeah. So it just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like this whole window, I just thought was just shit. Like this whole window was just bad to think like that you just get embarrassed at home in both games to 2 really good sides at home right before your last window before the World Cup send-off and then the World Cup. It just didn't sit well with me at all yesterday. It was bad overall.
I mean, there's just nothing to be inspired by. And that's the hard thing is like when we want to have these conversations about, well, we want to see this U.S. men's national team do something that's never been done before. There was really nothing in those last two matches that showed me that it's even something that's relatively in the conversation. Now, I think when people say like, well, you're going to get bounced out of your group, and we'll talk about Turkey punching their ticket to the World Cup and what the group will look like and some of our expectations around that. But, these are teams that we would play in the knockout stages, right? So I think it's also important to keep that in mind. Like these would be like knockout stage games, like top 15, top 10 teams in the world. And so to that degree, were we in over our skis in the beginning by scheduling these guys? Yeah, I believe so. And and we got exposed. And so now,
That's
does
fine.
exposed mean, yeah, does exposed mean good, bad? I don't know what it means, but there was just as you said, it's just tough to be inspired or think that anything different is going to happen in the World Cup. And that's why it's hard to really, Belgium was a wake-up call. Belgium was a shock. Belgium really kind of drew out the emotional response. Yesterday was more just frustrating than anything, and it was because of the exact reason that you were talking about. Now, I didn't know that was a knock on American soccer players. I was completely unaware that that's something that they're known for, is like trying to make things sexy as opposed to just, but we've had this literally since episode number 1 of Inside the Game, the podcast, which was just woof. It was not great to begin with, but ever since episode 1 of this show, we've always talked about, harked on the same thing. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be effective, right? You just have to put, in hockey, they say pucks on net. If you put a puck on net, something might happen. You might get a deflection. The goalie might mess up. That was my ultimate frustration. I was just yelling shoot at the TV for
Yeah.
however long that match was. But
Yeah, no, it
anyways,
was
let's yeah.
just for some perspective here.
Yeah.
Portugal was 5th in the world. Belgium was 9th in the world. We'll play Germany, who's 10th, and then we'll play Senegal, who's 14th. For perspective, we're 16th, and the teams that we beat, Uruguay and Japan, are 17 and 18, and then Turkey, who's all the way down in 22nd. So, yeah, let's just to say, we aren't quite inside the top 10. That's all I would say
Yeah.
out of this window.
It's what's wild to me is that we were even ranked 15th at one point. Like I don't
Yeah, Mexico's 15th now.
yeah,
They drew with
it's
Belgium yesterday,
like
1-1.
1-1. Yeah, and they drew with Portugal. So if you were to tell me that Mexico would be this much further ahead than what we are, yeah, man. Yeah, this is yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, real quick before we go, it's not a YouTube comment, but it's a text message from my mom, and she said, "Take a shot and crash the net." Yes, Mom, you tell them tomorrow. Tell the USA team. You tell Pulisic and Timway and McKennie and Balogun. Tell them to shoot the ball and crash the net, or that net, as you say, crash that net. Like, please, like anything. Like, they didn't shoot at all, or just become good at
No.
corners. But clearly, we can't even become good at corners.
Yeah. It just, if you're in an area to shoot the ball, shoot the damn ball. Just do something. And I thought Berhalter was going to get the goal yesterday. He just shot it
He
on
did.
once.
He
And,
had some good
and
strikes.
I was
I won't
like,
lie.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
the funny
So,
thing is about the whole whenever the U.S. plays is that TikTok of Sebastian Berhalter.
oh yeah, yeah, he's
The
a
Taylor
goofball.
Swift song, and then he like
Will
proposes
live
to his
on
teammate.
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
Well, isn't it another one of the American teammates? Isn't
Yeah,
it
it's
another one
Aiden
of the players
Morris.
on the? It is Aiden Morris, isn't it? That's so funny.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, I mean, just what can you say about it that again hasn't already been said? And I know you mentioned a few things, and I thought Alex Freeman played well. I thought
He
Chris
did.
Richards,
I thought he was good. I thought he was good.
yeah. I thought he was in there. I thought he was providing good pressure. I thought Malik Tillman looked good. I just again, it's we're just picking at straws here when we try to come up with silver linings, because at the end of the day, I mean, if the ball's not going in the net and we're not looking competitive, then what are we doing? So anyways, we'll continue this conversation on the other side. I know there's a couple of different angles to this, including the group, and Is the U.S. the favorite to win the group? I wouldn't call it a group of death. I think it's more of a trap group, which is something I saw yesterday, which I think is a more accurate representation of what that group is. But first, let's tell you about FC Bayern summer soccer camps. They're a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels. FC Bayern camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. And right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30. And that's BayernNSN30. You're scanning the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
So the dream behind Irene's was simply to be a place where the community could come and gather. This is my hometown, we're raising our family here, and we just want to be a space where people can come together as a community and share a great meal. We've got golf simulators, we got pinball, live music, trivia nights, but we also have fresh, always homemade, locally sourced food, and we serve it with a sense of Gemütlichkeit. This is a German word that conveys a sense of warmth and coziness and belonging. We're excited to show off how we're growing and that this is the place to be.
And as always, this is the place to be from 9 to 11 a.m. weekdays here on the National Soccer Network. Welcome back in. You're on Inside the Game, talking, complaining, yelling, crying, whatever you want to call it, about the U.S. men's national team and the disappointment that was these last couple of games. You know, it's funny. I went home. My parents don't live far from here. They have big living room, comfy couches, big old TVs. So like I always just end up hanging out in there one way or the other. And I dropped back by yesterday and I was like, oh man, I got to put the game on. They're like, ooh, what game? Like, there's no basketball. I'm like, nope, different game. I go, the U.S. is playing Portugal. They're like, ooh, and what? I'm like, footy.
Football.
They're like, what's footy? What? I've never heard of footy. I'm like, soccer, guys. They're like, oh, okay.
So disappointing.
That's why we're not competitive in the world. Like I heard someone say in a comment section yesterday, it's well, you have the most money, you have the most people playing the sport. There's something there.
Look at Kentucky basketball. They had all the money and they still didn't do anything. You got to do something right with the money.
Like, you can have all of the resources in the world. And so this is why when American fans want to hammer home the fact that, well, we have the most money, we have the most resources, you have to have a culture that supports success. And I think in the women's game, it is culture. It also has to come down to the fact that we were the first to really start investing in women's sports compared to the rest of the world. And the rest of the world went, oh, we can't let the U.S. just dominate us, so we got to catch up. But that's the exact reason why it is what it is in the U.S. And it's hard to admit that sometimes.
I would say we're getting there, but for the most part, we aren't there yet. Like like if you were to say, yeah, USA's playing Portugal in hockey or basketball or baseball or somehow flag football or something, I don't know. Your parents would be like, "Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's awesome, so excited."
Yeah.
Then you say soccer, and it's
Mhm.
like, but then there's also a point where it's like, does a second generation or a third generation like family or of a family that like loves soccer, does that matter so much? And I've heard people say the whole generation thing doesn't truly matter. Like it doesn't,
Yeah.
like if you're good enough, you're good enough. You don't need like a whole, like soccer does, like there's pro athletes that don't watch sports. Like they don't
Yeah.
watch their sport. I mean, probably because they're
Yeah.
consumed by it every single day. So like even
Jokic.
growing up, I'm sure they may have watched it, but like
Yeah.
I have heard that question. And I always want to bring it up on the show, but other things have been bigger than asking like, does a second generation soccer family, does that matter, or a third generation? But no, people say it doesn't really matter. Like
Yeah.
if like Nate, you were to have kids, and all of a sudden your family's like, or your kid's like, yeah, I want to play soccer, but you didn't play it, like at least probably past rec soccer, I would imagine, Nate. Like that, and they become good. It's not because of like, oh, your family didn't play soccer, like his parents must have played soccer.
Yeah.
No, it's
Right.
it doesn't truly matter. It doesn't really matter, the whole generation thing. Like I'm sure there's pro football players, basketball players, baseball players that maybe their families didn't actually, play the sport growing up, competitively at least. So no, I
Yeah.
don't think the generation thing and the whole like culture thing truly matters. I think that's a little bit overrated.
Right.
I would say from like the peanut gallery that is like the other countries in the world, I don't think it matters that much,
Yeah.
because like, are you telling me there's a good basketball culture in France or Canada? Like, yet they have
Yeah.
MVPs.
Not as healthy as the U.S. Yeah. That's for
Serbia,
sure.
they
Yeah.
have in it. They have arguably the best player in basketball. They still don't have a good basketball culture in there. It's still soccer.
Mm, yes, but I wouldn't say they don't have one though.
Talk to the Serbian
Yugoslavia was
basketball
still
coach, and he'll tell you they don't have a good
okay. Yeah,
basketball
soccer
culture.
can be number one, but you can still have a
Talk to the
like we have
Serbian
a
basketball
culture.
coach, and when he
Ryan,
says they don't have a good
do we have
basketball
a culture? Do we have a
when you
culture
don't have a
around
good
basketball in the
culture
U.S.?
from the Serbian coach himself, then, and if he says it, then
Do
yeah, maybe we'll say there's a good basketball culture.
do
But when
we
he
have
says
a
it,
basketball culture in the U.S.? Do
I
we
have
have a
no idea
basketball
what you
culture in
said.
the
You
U.S.?
glitched out.
Do we have a basketball culture in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Is it anywhere close to football? Even in the vicinity of football?
Yeah. College
No.
basketball.
No, hell no. The NFL? Hell
So
no.
are we talking the people that play the sport, or are we talking just the environment?
Just the popularity of the sport.
Yeah, basketball is popular as football.
Right. So I would argue that basketball is easily number 2 in Serbia behind soccer, right? In
But
terms
it's
of popularity.
still not big. Like, it's still not big. And Nate, when the Serbian basketball coach says we do not have a good basketball culture, they do not have a good basketball culture. I don't care that you saw the NBA Finals and the Nuggets, and you saw Serbians waiting at 4 a.m. to watch Jokic. That doesn't mean anything.
Before they were even Serbia, they were winning gold medals. I don't know. They have good players. But anyways, the point is that the World Cup, the reason why it's important, and I just think that this is important to mention, again, we can get into the Turkey conversation here in a second, is that...
Can we, hold on, about Turkey. I think we say Turkey wrong.
It's technically Turkey, but has that changed? Has that changed?
Because I have no idea, because I was listening all day yesterday in the Italy game and in the USA game, and they keep saying Turkey. I go, since when is it called Turkey? I would like to know, because yesterday I was shocked. I'm like, have I been saying Turkey wrong this whole time? Like,
well, and
since when is it
publications?
Changed?
Yeah, publications will write Turkey still. Like I've read like sources and about Turkey that they still spell it Turkey, but yet the actual, I think, pronunciation of the country is Turkey. And I've heard multiple different people pronounce it that way.
And I've never heard
even
that
in the media
until yesterday.
No, I mean, maybe it's one of those, like, I feel like freaking the Czech Republic has gone, like, they have like 3 different names, like Czechia, Czech Republic, Check. I have no idea.
Thanks,
Like,
Dad.
I don't know
He
what it is
says,
anymore.
my boss is from Turkey. I will ask him. Yeah, please ask him, because I was confused yesterday. I was sitting there and I'm like, even the American commentators are saying Turkey. I go, I
My
thought it
whole
was
life.
Turkey. I thought it was
Yeah,
Turkey.
my whole life I've said Turkey, so I don't. Who knows? So whatever his boss say is probably the official explanation, because I'm gonna go with the guy that's from the country. But no, the importance of the importance of the World Cup is much less about how the U.S. men's national team plays, and it's much more about that other part of the conversation, which is just someone having some sort of memory around the World Cup that makes soccer something that's on the forefront of their mind that they pay attention to. Even myself in working in soccer have learned so much the last couple of years from a play-by-play perspective, from obviously being on the show with you, in all the different things and all the different ways that I've been involved. I have the sport in a lot of ways has grown on me, and it's something that I'm very excited to be back outside and be back, calling games in the USL2 and the USLW. It's and it always just so happens to be, and I think it works out perfectly, that when minor league baseball has their break, their all-star break, it's just the same exact week. It's the same exact weekend, I believe, as the USLW finals and the USL2. So it is very fun to be involved and see the sport and witness the sport, but sometimes you have to not force it in front of people, but you have to be forcible in the way you get the sport out there. And the one way you do that is bring the biggest tournament in the world to the United States. Now, is that going to automatically make it a sport that we are invested in and care so much about? No, it's not going to happen overnight. Like, I know we want to talk about how it's bigger than baseball, it's more popular than baseball. I'll believe that when I see ESPN actually covering it more than what they do. Yeah,
Well, we won't have a baseball
European
season
football
next year.
is. Well, that's true. European football is, absolutely. It's popular to a lot of Americans, but in the mainstream, it's not. Basketball is, football is, baseball is, even hockey is. Hockey warrants a mention a lot of times, but, doesn't get a lot of coverage. But ESPN even admits that they don't really care to cover hockey because, again, it's further on down the list. So all of those things changing to where maybe, just maybe, it becomes a certain portion of the population's favorite sport, or they get a little more interested, or it just helps, again, change this mentality around the sport of soccer that, again, it was just a microcosm of it yesterday with my parents, but it's a very real reality. If we can just continue to chip away at that, change that a little bit, then eventually one of these days we're going to be in a position to not only compete with the world talents on the women's side, but our men are finally going to figure it out at the same exact time. But that's where it's important, because I've run out of hope that the U.S. men's national team is going to do anything at the World Cup. So I'm out of hope there.
I think they'll do something. I think they'll do something. I think they will win. I think they'll make the round of 16. I truly do, just because unless we finish second, then we're playing either England or Croatia, which technically maybe I can't even say that England will beat us, because they haven't beat us before in a World Cup. Even when we're trash, we still somehow find ways to at least draw with them. We don't beat them, but so the group, which is Turkey A. Since when did that happen? I don't know. So we have Turkey A, who's 22nd in the world. Australia, which is 27th, and then where is Paraguay? I can't find Paraguay. Paraguay's in here somewhere. I just don't know where. 40th. Okay. So on paper, we should win this thing, right? We should win this group. However, Turkey A beat us like 4-0 last year. So, I mean, but if we're looking at the grand scheme of things, we still got a blessing because of who's in our group. Truly, like, the hardest European team is Turkey A. Like, that's the hardest thing we have in the group. Like, that is, like, even looking at it, Canada has a shot of getting out of the group. So does Mexico, South Africa, Korea, and Czechia is what they say on the FIFA World Cup website. And then Canada has Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland. Like a lot of these host nations got a nice draw in terms of everything. Like Group F, that'll be difficult. Japan, Netherlands, Japan, Sweden. But I think with Turkey being in the group, I think we're gonna finish. I still think we finish first. I do think we finish first because we've competed with Australia, we've competed against Paraguay, and we've got our doors blown off of Turkey. But again, these are all just one-game situations. I do think that there's a little bit more hatred in that Paraguay game now just because of what happened at the end of the game. And hopefully, for some odd reason, they turn into like Michigan basketball where they actually just like take every little thing to heart. Hopefully that like pisses them off enough to actually, win that game. Australia hasn't been in a World Cup since I think 14. I think it was Tim Cahill, amazing volley. But no, again, no one truly scares me. I think you can compete against Turkey because in reality, Nate, all you really got to do against Turkey, which I think is the first game of the group now, all you got to do is get a draw. Like that's all you got to do, really.
Yeah.
Again, in this type of environment, because I think the other two are winnable, obviously, and again, first game too, when you're hosting a World Cup, you always get like, if you go down the list, you always get some magical moment, or you get a result. Like is what I'm trying to get at. Like you will get a result, or you will have some magic moment. It just go down the history. So we'll get. I think we'll win the first game no matter who we play. I think we're just gonna win just because we're hosting it. So I still think we get out of it. For Turkey, does it change anything for me personally? No, because I think we'll still win the group regardless of Turkey A or whatever the hell anyone's name is now. Everyone will be just changing names. Like England's Great Britain somehow. Like that makes no sense. Like England in soccer they'll say England, but in every other sport, all of a sudden it's Great Britain. It's like, so we're just gonna pick and choose what teams represent everyone in soccer, like in other sports. Like
I don't know what the deal is with that. You're right.
Baseball will play Great Britain in baseball, but in soccer we'll play England. And then Scotland, and then like none of it makes sense.
Oh, so does Great Britain include like the
includes like Scotland, Northern Ireland, I think.
Yeah. So Great Britain is like it's a group of countries. It's a group of countries, whereas England is just the country of England. It's the island country.
Great Britain refers to England, Scotland, Wales.
Yeah.
And then wait, Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, but not part of Great Britain. Dude, this makes no sense. To
a lot of political
question,
tensions
Nate,
out there.
I have no idea. Forget there's the United Kingdom. Like, why do all these countries just make up stuff? Like, just be making up names. I will say, as much crap as the United States gets, hey, at least we know our name. It's either USA or United States of America or the United States. It's not United Kingdom, Great Britain. This country's a part of this and this country's a part of that. It makes no sense.
Could you imagine if Ohio was a different country altogether? That'd be so funny.
They probably deserve to be their own country.
That would add to all the rivalries, man. That would just make it it'd be even more fun.
Yeah, sorry, Kevin.
That
you're
add a different level.
Area.
Level of intensity. Is Kevin tuning in today? I hope he is. No, he's probably busy. He's probably got a show and
today.
Another show.
I know Tanner was in here a little bit ago, but I haven't.
He was.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't
Good
seen
stuff.
him. But no, it makes. Dude, all these countries make no sense to me, man. But no, I still think we
some
win the
of it. I literally discover countries based off of them having some sort of national football / soccer team. Like I'm like, I
didn't know Kosovo existed. Or Kosovo, whatever they're called.
There was one I saw yesterday. It started with an M. I don't even remember it. And I'm like, it's like on par with like Madagascar. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know you had a team. You're like a country of 25 people. What do you mean you have enough players for a national
team? We should
team?
do just like a segment of just weird country names.
Off the wall country names? All right. Well, let's see if maybe we can get into a few of those on the other end. We'll take a step aside, get into our next topic on the other end here on episode 261 of Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Someone should probably get rid of
back
that commercial.
We're back in live inside the game. I was just gonna blow past it, but
Yeah, someone should probably get rid of that commercial.
Oh, we're back in live, continuing our conversation here in hour number 1. We're talking about weird country names before we went to break. It is pronounced Turkey, by the way. Ryan Glinsky confirming that for us. So thank you for that. Not everyone can do what they need to do and actually pronounce it correctly, because I myself was also thrown off by this. I thought it was Turkey the entire time. But let's get into the next part of our talk. Just been talking a lot of football, a lot of overarching themes today. But Ryan, you actually sent me this yesterday, and it is one of the most fascinating things that's going on in football/soccer right now. The Italian curse continues. 3 straight World Cups that Italian football has now missed. This is despite winning the Euros just a handful of years ago. And really, I mean, when I was young and growing up, Italy was the standard. I saw them win a World Cup once upon a time. But it has been a disappointment now for over a decade. But does that mean the talent has completely fallen off in the country, or does it just mean that there's a lack of leadership and a lack of something that can't click for this Italian football team? Because we talked about in terms of popularity, there's nothing more popular than football in Italy. But is there something to it? What has led to this downfall? And then on the other side of that too, Ryan, is it time that we stop bragging about U.S. men's national team players like Weston McKennie, like Christian Pulisic, and what they're doing in Serie A? Because is it really all that impressive when put up against the other leagues, especially when you consider where the Italian football team is in their lack of production? I'd certainly say you could certainly say that.
Yeah, and also just to start this off with a fun way, this is the guy who scored the PK. How do you pronounce that name?
Esmir.
How do you pronounce that?
Okay. Bajratovic.
Sounds good enough to me. So during the
my
video
guess.
where I
Sorry.
break the pasta, I'm like, I'm not even going to attempt this. But his nickname is the Milwaukee Messi because he was actually born in Wisconsin. His parents are Bosnian refugees, and they settled in Wisconsin, I guess. That's kind of how the story goes. He plays for the New England Revolution in the MLS, but he's only 21 years old. But that is his name, the Milwaukee Messi. But that's his name.
Well, let's get that guy. Let's try to get that guy on our team. All right.
But that's his name.
That's funny.
However you want to pronounce it is up to you. But that's his name.
I don't know if my guess was even close, but I tried.
But no, for Italy, it's crazy to think that this is a nation that won it all in 2006, and then in 2010 didn't didn't get out of the group because they, of course, had the Champions Curse. Then 2014, they were put in a insane group and then lost it, then didn't qualify for 18 or 2022, and now 2026. So this is just I just found this on Twitter too yesterday. Wanted to read it for you guys. The last time Italy played in a World Cup, 2014. VAR was not used in football yet. Buffon was still playing football. Lamine Yamal was just 7 years old. Messi and Ronaldo were 27 and 29. Barack Obama was president of the United States. Real Madrid had 10 Champions League titles. They now have 15. And Donnarumma was 15 years old. That's what was going on the last time Italy made it to a World Cup. This nation is which it's just really weird to me, is the fact that they won it in 06, didn't had the Champions Curse, whatever, in 2010, then go.
Hey, don't forget the Ice Bucket Challenge, by the way. The Ice Bucket Challenge was 2014 too. That was a good time.
Okay, the LS Bucket
Dumping
Challenge
ice on each
apparently.
other. All right, go ahead.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, no. And then you think in 2012 they got BTA by Spain in the Euro final, Balotelli, Super Mario, that whole run, and then they win it in 2021, the Euros. Then you think, okay, you think of the guys like Locatelli and Chiesa, and you still have Bonucci and Chiellini. And Donnarumma, obviously. Like, they still had a good squad. Calafiori, another name. Like, they have a good squad, but they just can't put it together. I don't know what they can't do. You're telling me you can't beat Bosnia in 90 minutes? Like, you can't do that? You lose them in a shootout? You skied your PKs? Makes no sense. But, again, I think there is a little bit of a reason for some of this. I think it does talk back to domestically. Like, and whether you want to think this is a good argument or not, because everyone has said that the Premier League is the best league in the world, yet England doesn't win anything. However, I will argue this: since 2018, in every major tournament, England has made the finals or made the semifinals, which is funny to me because England hated Gareth Southgate for the longest time. I'm just saying, they hated Southgate, yet he got them the furthest ever in like 40 years. I digress. But anyway, the Italian Serie A has been awful. It's just been awful in recent years. All you have is really Inter Milan, who lost to City in the Champions League final a couple years ago, and I think they lost last year to what's their name, PSG. But if you look at their path, it was relatively easy. Anyway, but I think if the downfall is kind of the same downfall that happened to Juventus when they had prime Pirlo and prime Chiellini and Bonucci and prime Buffon, and then you think of like Paul Pogba was on those teams, and you think of Carlos Tevez was on those teams. Dybala was an unbelievable prospect for a couple of years. But since the downfall of Juventus, who was like the best team in Serie A for a handful of times, Arturo Vidal, another name, but they made a couple of Champions League finals. They couldn't necessarily win them because they played against prime Real Madrid or prime Barcelona, it seemed like, every single year. But since their downfall has been the downfall of Italian soccer, like it felt like for a period of time there that the Juventus was just feeding into Italy soccer. And you think of the other the nations in the world, not PSG, Bayern Munich used to be full of German players.
PSG.
And PSG obviously with France as well. But you think of Germany when they won the World Cup. I think 8 of that starting 11 were all Bayern Munich players. Then you think of PSG now. Kylian Mbappe started there. Ousmane Dembele is still there. So they still have French players and French influence on all this stuff. Then you go over in England. A lot of players play for, it feels like there's a couple Englishmen on Arsenal, Rice and Saka. Liverpool's got a handful. Chelsea's got a handful. United, City, like they all have English players. Then you go over to Spain. Lamine Yamal's in there. And then that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Okay, Lamine Yamal. And then Zubamendi was there for a while for Sociedad. So he was a key player, obviously. And there's a handful of Sociedad players in the starting 11. But it just seems to be Serie A. Like when I was growing up, this used to be like the team, like everyone should worry about the AC Milans and the Inter Milans and the Juventus and all those teams. Like everyone should worry about it. And people in Premier League sides and La Liga sides used to take in the hot prospects from Italy in Italy. And remember Stefan Jovetic, for anyone that knows that name. Man, did he flop at Manchester City, but he was his next big Italian thing. But no, a lot of these players just flop. out of Italy, and the teams are just not as good as they used to be anymore. And I think that has something to do with the downfall of Italian soccer. Now this brings up to the main point. Can we say that Pulisic and McKennie might be slightly overrated? If the Italian soccer league isn't what we all say it to be, yet these two are dominating in it, can we say that the league is slightly overrated? And the stock that we have in saying Pulisic is a top 10 winger in the world, we then can't say that because Pulisic is playing in a subpar league. If that is the case, and the same thing with Weston McKennie, who is ironically at Juventus, which is funny that I was just bashing Juventus for the longest time there. But I think we cannot say that Pulisic and McKennie are unbelievable talents because they're dominating in Serie A, because in reality, Serie A is a subpar league.
Yeah, and I think on the part of Italian football, it's time to clear house. Like that's the option that
I think
you
they have
it's
though.
been over a decade.
Clean house again.
It's true. That's true. I clean house again, but I think it is a systemic issue, and it's the same thing that we talk about now. Not nearly to the same. They don't have the same cultural problems we have in the United States, but you could argue that in terms of player identification, player talent, all of those things play into your lack of success at the international level. It's not just coaching. It's not just the guy who's running the federation. It's everything top to bottom. So, it's kind of like when the IRS goes in and looks at your taxes and takes a look at everything and goes, you didn't, things don't quite look right here. It feels like they got to check the books in Italy and really kind of figure out, are all of those other things in the places they need to be. Now, in terms of Weston McKennie and Christian Pulisic, it's the same argument as, we take a look at Major League Soccer, with the lack of productivity in Italian football and really how much they've fallen off, not just the national team, but just competing against European talent. They have not been great in playing against teams in the bigger leagues, the higher leagues in the world. It has become watered down. And so I think they have greatly benefited from a league that has gotten to that point to where we can say that it is not one of the top leagues and that it is very watered down. Does that necessarily take away from the good things they've done? No, but does that mean that they're exposed to the level of talent that, we want them to compete against when it comes to the World Cup, and especially in the high leverage games against those top 15, top 10 teams in the world? No. And you can say confidently, because when they do, they look lost. The way that Pulisic looked lost yesterday against Portugal in some of those runs, the way that, Weston McKennie got a goal. But I mean, his player rating yesterday was only a 5 out of 10. He didn't necessarily stand out in any one particular way. I still think they're good players, but perspective is one of those things, especially in this sport, that it's hard to put things into perspective sometimes, because you could even let's just mention Messi. I mean, you look at what Messi's doing in the MLS, and us as Americans, we're like, "Oh, this is great." Well, look at how much Messi's still producing at this age. Would he even stand a chance in the Premier League at his age? I mean, I would like to think he is, because he's Messi. He would figure it out one way or the other, but it's two different planets. I mean, this is like Mars and Pluto in terms of the separation between the two. And so it showed in the Club World Cup when Miami just got blown out of the water by PSG. What was it, 4-0 or whatever it was? So, yes, I think it is okay as an American to be like, our valuation of McKennie and Pulisic is way over the top of what it should be. Not to say they're not good players, but this weekend showed us more than I think what we expected it to, because I didn't expect those guys to get exposed. The Roldans of the world, the Tim Reams, I'm like, yeah, you know what? We're going to have some trouble there. Our midfield, the Berhalters, it's like, okay, yeah, those guys might look a little lost out there. I didn't think that it was going to be like, oh, Christian Pulisic doesn't look like Christian Pulisic. He just looks like another guy on this team. Weston McKennie, same exact thing. I mean, he's a wizard at Juventus. He has been a wizard. Flo Balogun's been amazing. But when you put him against Belgium and Portugal and some of the top end Premier League, Champions League talent, it's like men against boys. And the way that both of those teams beat us, it's kind of fascinating, because I remember when you remember the whole analogy with Michigan football, how they talked about, Joe Klatt said they were like a boa constrictor. Like they just like, boas kill you because, you don't realize, like they just slowly tighten their grip until you can't get out anymore, and you don't even realize it's happening until it's happening. It felt like that. It also felt like, like when a boxer is far superior to his opponent, just bobbing and weaving, shoulder rolling, just waiting patiently, just hunting, just hunting. And then when it was time to strike, it was time to strike, and they took care of business. And so I think they were overwhelmed. I think they weren't used to seeing that level of talent. I think, if anything, this weekend told us not just a lot about the players that we have, but a lot about the leagues that they're playing in, whether it be the MLS, whether it be Serie A. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to that and players that are playing in much higher leagues, but, when you're surrounded by 8 other guys that are like, what the hell is going on? It's really tough. It's really tough to perform well. So I think our depth, more than anything else, has certainly got exposed.
Even though it's strange that our depth is now considered one of our strongest parts.
Exactly.
So
yeah, compared
to
what it used to
that
be.
This tweet did come from our good friend Jason Collinsworth at I Hate Soccer podcast. Make sure to check them out. That's where I got this idea as I was recovering from my run yesterday. Also, he started making me listen to Mambo Italiano by Dean Martin because of that. But no, there's a couple reasons why Italy has started to suck, and did some deep diving about it. And one of them popped my I should have known. One of them is money constraints. They said those Serie A clubs can't spend $100 billion like the Prem and La Liga sides do. And I go, that makes a lot of sense. That doesn't really, like, I should have known that. That's true. That they don't make a ton of money, and they sell their players to stay. They're a selling league. They're not a buying league anymore. So that just to stay afloat and all that fun stuff. They're stuck in the old identity back in the 90s and all with like Maldini and those guys. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. They are still stuck in the past in the 90s, and they're not evolving. And I think the best quote is, the legendary ultra-defensive tactic may have worked in 1990, but football in 2025 is a sprint, not a chess match. That's not evolution. That's fossilization. I like that. That's a really good quote. Poor youth development. That's been known for a while. Yeah. And then more scandals, including Serie A for the whole Juventus thing. Training grounds are outdated. It's just an old, crumbling, crippling federation. All the top stadiums are like, they're iconic, and everyone talks about how iconic they are, but they are really, really old and outdated.
Someone has to take it upon themselves to take this thing over. To really change the course of Italian football, because it's going to take everybody, but it really is going to take one leader, one voice from the front to be like, we gotta. It really starts from the bottom. And I'll say the same thing about U.S. soccer. I mean, people are like, well, why are we struggling at the level that we're struggling at? It all comes back to the youth. It all comes back to youth development. It all comes back to all those other things. It's apples and oranges comparing us to Italy, but. Just saying, that's probably why.
At the same time, everyone said the same thing back in 2018. Oh, let's regroup this whole thing, and then you got to 2020, you had a blip, you win the Euros, and then you fail for the next 2. So I don't know who it is, but you've got to blow up everything. Like like what you just said is right, but they've done that. So like, what do they have to do differently this time? Like that's the new question. It's
maybe blow it up is probably the better analogy for this situation versus clearing house. Clearing house just says, hey, we'll get rid of certain people. Blowing it up means blowing it up, which
you gotta
talked about here before too.
Germany didn't qualify the 08 Euros, 04 Euro. They didn't qualify for 1 Euros before 2012. And that's when they're like, okay, we got to do something. And then eventually the reward was a 2014 World Cup championship. So you probably just got to look at the Germany model and see what they did. I know that's 20 years ago or whatnot, but you've got to figure this out because you can't clean house. You got to blow this whole thing up. You got to, whoever's in charge, you got to either tell that person to resign, whatever, or because this isn't just a simple cleanup. You got to blow this whole thing up.
Yep. Let's tell you a little bit about Barcelona. We'll continue the conversation on the other end here on Inside the Game. But Barca Academy, proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States, designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18. Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30. Again, that's FCB30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I sing my song grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
The National Soccer Network presents the MLS and WMLIS Finals weekend. 8 teams battling for a championship at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Don't miss the excitement March 28th and 29th as the top indoor soccer teams compete for the title. Watch every match live and exclusively on the National Soccer Network.
$114,000 views for that championship weekend. That's crazy.
That's
I
not a
still
joke.
think
It's
about
not
that
April.
number.
It is April Fool's.
That's
but we're not
wild.
lying about that.
It is April Fool's, but I ain't poking or prodding about that one. I'm being completely honest. That's a pretty big deal. So, anyways, we'll talk to Tanner White a little bit more about that coming up here later on in the week, and their champions and some of the unsuspected wild things that happened in that tournament. But we'll continue along here in hour number 1 of our conversation. Ryan, I know we got a few things in the all sports section to get to. Do you want to get to that now, or do you want to wrap up our soccer conversation?
Let's continue the soccer.
All right, let's do it. Let's talk about, I know we mentioned Italian football, and maybe Serie A being in a bad spot, and we were talking in length about that. I guess this leads us into our final topic, and this is, we've already mentioned it, but we can just we can circle back on it. And I think it's something that as all Americans, we're kind of forced to face this reality in this conversation right now. And at least the ones that are invested in what happens in the World Cup and what's coming up in the summer. And the question is, have the expectations now changed for the World Cup after watching what we did in the last 2 matches against Belgium and Portugal? And, recency bias is one of those things in sports where, the minute something happens, good or bad, we immediately change our perceptions, our understandings, and we jump on a bandwagon or something. Like if a player has a good game, he's the best thing ever. If a player has a bad game, he's the worst thing ever. That's just how the sports world and sports media works. That's why we love this job, right? Because we can be reactionary and people really gravitate towards that. And I talked about it earlier, like people like it more when I crash out on my videos, especially the ones when I'm talking about the U.S. men's national team. Like those are the ones that simply, they seem to do a lot better than the ones where I'm practical and I'm talking about all the different things. But it's only because I don't feel like I crashing out at this point is just, it's almost like, what do you expect? And people have asked me that question, like, me crashing out is an indication that I expected something different. And I understand that. And after the Belgium game, there were a few people in the comment section who's like, did you really think that they would win? And I never exclusively said that. But you could tell by my reaction that there was a feeling, at least in my mind, that the showing that we were going to put on the field was far better than what we put out there. You said that we hired, and I agree with you for what it's worth, that we hired Mauricio Pochettino to come in to coach the U.S. in the World Cup because we didn't want to get embarrassed in the biggest tournament in the world on our soil, arguably the biggest soccer it is the biggest soccer tournament in the history of our country. I mean, 94 was big. This is going to be far greater than what that was. Far greater than what that was. And so the question comes up, you know, has the expectation changed? And Mauricio Pochettino came in to make sure that we weren't embarrassed and to make sure that we put on a good showing. I still think we can get embarrassed with Mauricio Pochettino on the sidelines. I don't think that just because we brought in someone who has a very high soccer acumen, who has a history, who's been in some of the top leagues in the world, you know, we always use the analogy, you know, putting lipstick on a pig or putting a racing stripe on a minivan. That's what kind of that feels like a little bit. And just because Poch has this resume and just because he has this history doesn't mean that he can't put us in a position to be embarrassed in the World Cup. And I'm looking back at ever since he was hired and he was brought into the U.S. men's national team, has there ever been a time, and you can answer this too, Ryan, because I'll answer it honestly, has there ever been a time where you looked at this team under Poch and gone, man, we're onto something here? You know what I mean? Like we're making moves, you know, we're winning games, where this team is inspiring. Has there been a time?
Yeah, in the fall.
There has been a time for you in the fall.
Yeah, I said
Explain.
that. I said that when they started messing around with the back five, and they had 3 center backs out there. I tell you, okay, there's something being laid down there. That there is something. Yeah, in the fall, I'd say so.
Okay. Yeah, and it's just asking you a question because
has there for you?
There have been more windows during the Gold Cup. Maybe a little bit. Now, I know that obviously that wasn't, you know, top-end talent. We weren't playing some of the best countries in the world. But was it all for naught? Like, are we getting excited for what exactly our expectation is, which is we get out of the group and then we get bounced? Maybe we make a round of 16. Maybe. But I don't know if it's necessarily changed my expectation as much as it has cemented that we're just not good enough. Like we talked about on Monday, we're just not. We might be good enough to win the group. We might be good enough to win one knockout game. Frankly, I don't see it. But we're not good enough to actually make any noise in this tournament. So why are we setting our expectations high to see something that we've never seen before? Am I off base by saying that?
Nate, your 2 probably favorite sports moments in all time weren't supposed to happen. So this hockey team, we asked before the show, before the tournament started in the Olympics, I go,
right,
where do we think you're going? And you said this team would finish with a bronze. You said they wouldn't even make the gold medal game. And what'd they do? They went out and they won the whole effing thing. Your favorite movie probably of all time, the greatest sporting moment of all time, USA Hockey was supposed to finish 10th. Guess what they did? They won it all. Crazy. How many nations have knocked off USA in basketball in the Olympics over the years? A couple have. They weren't supposed to win it, and they did it. Yep. So just because we saw 2 shitty games in a shitty window, nothing should really change, because if I'm being honest with you, this was, as much as I disagree with it, it was just experiments. That's all it was. This is all this was. And I can understand, if I'm correct, I can understand why he did it. And I said it earlier today. I can understand if you're trying to set your team up a certain way, if you were to play one of these sides in a knockout and see what it looks like now. I can see it. Now, if we go into the Senegal and Germany games and it looks back to what it looked like in the fall, then none of this really matters. But
yeah,
there's talent on this team, 100%. We have there's talent. There's players that have played decently well in the Premier League with a guy like a Brendan Aronson, a Chris Richards. I know we just talked about saying maybe not take so much stock into McKennie and Pulisic. Balogun's playing well in League One. Like, there's talent on this team. It's just, can we put it all together for a 90 minutes, maybe more? But there's reasons why this team can make a run if they can all believe. But crazy stuff have happened in sports. This hockey team wasn't supposed to win it all, and they didn't.
The only difference that I'll say here
and
is
they didn't even look good doing it. They looked like shit against Canada. Canada should have won. But again, hockey and soccer are weird sports. Crazy things happen.
Yeah. Well, it much in the same way that you can't just look at a box score, or a summary in this sport and go, well, one team controlled possession for 60% of the time. It doesn't necessarily matter at the end of the day. What matters is scoring more than the other team. The only difference that I'll tell you is that, like Herb once upon a time said that if we're lucky, we might medal. Might. If we're lucky.
Yeah, they won the whole thing.
But Mauricio Pochettino coming out to the media and saying we could bring this team to a semifinal. I don't
he
put
brought
that
Tottenham
in my
to a
head.
Champions League final. He's done crazy things.
That's fair. And I'll give you that. But we simply cannot accept that as our expectation going into the World Cup. And I don't like being a pessimist.
We've never said semifinals on the show, though. We've never said semifinals on the show.
But when the head coach, when the manager says it, the general American fan, the general American audience, we know. I'm not trying to say that I'm more intelligent than any other person in the world, and I know better. That's not it, right? But when he says something like that, it's like it stirs up this level of confidence that whatever is going on the inside, he knows what he's seeing. Like Mauricio Pochettino has forgotten more about the sport than anyone, you, me, or JT combined. He's forgotten more about the sport than any three of us. But so when he says things like that, you're like, wow, like truly he has a good pulse on this. He knows what good ball and bad ball looks like. But that is not a semifinal team that we saw against Belgium, and it certainly was not a semifinal team that we saw yesterday against Portugal. Now, like I said, if we're better at finishing, if we just somehow find a way to finish once in a while, yeah, sure, we could absolutely be a team that hangs with the big dogs. No one's beaten France, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. France might just walk their way to it. World Cup final.
Soccer.
But anyways, it is knockout
One-game
soccer.
Single
but
elimination. It's not game sevens.
It is. I see it. Okay, I see it. I'll give you that. I see where it could potentially be that way. But even if they're experimenting and even if they're doing things to try and figure out who fits where, do we all of a sudden expect this to look completely different when the World Cup starts? I don't know. That's the tough thing.
It completely flipped in the fall. Like, they looked horrible. I think it was against Korea, and they come around, turn it around. And, yeah, you can argue Japan didn't play their best players, but we also didn't play our best players at the same time, yet it looked drastically different. And then we did the same thing in Paraguay, Australia, Uruguay. I don't know the other teams, but, like, it looked drastically different. So he can turn it around. And let's not forget, this is a single elimination tournament. Our group is way easier than most groups we've ever had. There's again, we can take this whole recency bias of, well, what happened in the last two games, whatever. But we also weren't set up properly the way that we should be set up. And I don't think Poch is that dumb to sit there and say, okay, let's rock with a back four in the World Cup. I don't think he's that dumb. Let's be honest. I don't think he is. There has been times in the fall where I'm like, okay, you know what? This team could win a game, maybe two, in the knockouts. And who says I would have liked to see us play in a back five against one of these bigger teams? Because I would like to see what it looks like, but we won't know until maybe Senegal, Germany, in the World Cup. And I'm not here to say like he's hiding stuff for the World Cup. I'm not saying that either. But
Yeah.
It's single elimination soccer. For crying out loud, Costa Rica made a quarterfinal and they beat a big team. And what says that we can't do it? And that is the message in that group is why not us? That is the message in the group. Why not us? And for all I know, Pochettino just said it to say it. He might just go to the group and be like, have different conversations. He may have said it to say it. And at the same time, he could have.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe speculate, maybe a little digging into conspiracy, something that's not here, or digging into something that really isn't there. The Federation could have said, just say we're going to make a semifinal. Get people hyped up for this thing. That we actually have a good team. Hype this thing up. Because that's the whole thing of this World Cup is let's hype things up. Let's try to grow this game as much as we physically can. Look, if this was a World Cup in France or in Germany or in Spain, their expectations are to win the whole thing. Our expectations aren't to win the whole thing. Our expectations is to not get embarrassed and to maybe win a game or two to inspire a whole nation to build on something great and then take over the whole sport in decades.
You're telling me Mauricio Pochettino is doing a little PR work for USA Soccer over there, trying to get people hyped up?
You're telling me he
That's
went up
fair.
to the president of the United States and Trump was like, okay, what do you think this team's gonna do? You're not gonna say what you really think.
We're gonna get grouped, man.
You're not going to say that. I think he just said to make a semifinal is to do some PR work. You're right.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Mhm.
Does he actually believe it? Probably not. But I'm just saying, you can't crazy things have happened in sports. I'm not saying it's going to happen with the U.S., but him coming out and saying we might have a semifinal. I mean, I think it's some PR work. I think it is.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and I get it. I mean, if you want Americans to be excited, and especially when you look at what he did during the college football season and going on game day and, doing all the different interviews, and I've seen more USA men's national team players in commercials. Oddly enough, I saw Diego Luna in a commercial yesterday, which I'm like, that's odd because Luna's not even on the World Cup roster.
Weird.
He's a fun story. He certainly caught on during the summer, but I understand that weird things can happen. I understand that there's a reason why we love sports. And the reason why we love sports is because expect the unexpected, right? It has always been the universal thing that I think continues to bring people back to this. And to say that we're in a far better spot now than what we were, forget the last time the World Cup was here, but even go back 10, 15 years, I would agree with you. And I think that there is a lot to be said, and it's okay. It's like I heard Alexi Lala say this once upon a time. It is okay to congratulate ourselves for how far we have come. Okay, to not consistently have to compare ourselves to everybody else, but it's also worth being critical in the areas that you have to be critical in. And so that's why I think shows like ours are important, because we're always going to be critical, but at the same time, we're going to be fair. And does that mean that what does it mean for the World Cup? If anything, I think it adds to just, we don't know what's going to happen. And I think that kind of maybe adds to the excitement more than anything else, because it really is a toss up. Does he figure it out or does he not? I don't know. But yeah, expectations. I don't know, man. Let's win the whole thing, huh? Let's win the whole damn thing. Why not? Why not?
I'm just saying,
huh?
Nate, your favorite sporting event of all time, that you even have a jersey of the opposing team, which is still crazy to me, wasn't supposed to happen ever. Yet we're gonna sit here and watch 2 games of the Portugal USA and Belgium USA. And we're gonna sit here think the world's ending. Yet your favorite sporting event was never supposed to happen. Just putting it out there.
Should I throw the jersey on for when we come back for our all sports talk here in a few minutes?
This will be the camera for the remainder of the show, and then you will be muted. So
come on, man, it's a piece of sports history. He didn't have a choice. He was drafted by the Flyers, but they wouldn't let him leave the country because he was in a dictatorship, a communist country. But anyways, this Venislav Tretiak, by the way, that's who Ryan Glinsky is referring to. I got his USSR goalie jersey for Christmas. Oddly enough, he was the best goaltender in the world that got replaced.
The opposing team's uniform.
I don't know. I'm kind of scared to wear it out in public if I'm not gonna. If I'm not lying,
wouldn't wear a Soviet Union's hockey jersey in public.
But dude, it's like it's not. I'm not saying like the Soviet Union's great or anything. I'm not making a political statement by it.
What does that
mean?
Venislav
Tretiak had no choice. He was born there.
But Nate, you're wearing the jersey.
Oh, okay. So what? I can't wear a Sergei Fedorov jersey?
It's a Red Wing. If it's a Red Wings one or a Capitals one, yeah.
Well, he's a
was he on,
just
was
like
he on
the
the
rest
team?
of them.
No, he wasn't.
Or Konstantinov or any of these other guys. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, if
I
you
mean,
wear a
we
Red
literally
Wings
smuggled them out of the
or an
Soviet
NHL
Union.
team, yeah. But you are wearing a Soviet Union jersey, Nate.
Oh,
and I'm gonna wear around public.
The...
No one's gonna make fun. No one's gonna yell at me or do anything. Yeah, you're gonna get like this, dude. You're an American and you're rocking the Soviet. Did you not pay attention in history class? I'm gonna walk around in the Soviet Union. Yeah, it's like me going down Ann Arbor. I'm just gonna rock an Ohio State shirt because I just liked what's his face, Jeremiah Smith. I just liked him, so I just want to wear his jersey. Yeah, no, that makes zero sense. Why would you wear it in public?
My dad's like, that's cool. That's a great piece of sports history right there. Please don't wear it around Ukrainians or anybody. Like, just don't, just watch where you're wearing it.
Exactly.
And I'd agree.
Just
so I
frame
mean,
the
if
damn
once,
just frame
the
it.
Philadelphia Flyers should have smuggled Tretiak out of Russia so that I could actually wear his jersey maybe once upon a time. But it never happened. So
go to what is it? Michael's or something, buy a $30 frame and frame it.
Should I like sign it and like tell people that it was actually him that signed it?
Just find his signature and then draw it.
yeah. There you go.
Just put a piece of paper.
All good
put
ideas.
A piece of paper over the signature and then trace it.
Okay. Have you done this before? It sounds like you have experience in doing this. I can't say I've ever.
No, but it's just a way to fit. It's just a way to do it.
Plagiarized. That's true. You got a good point.
You've ever taken drawings and then just put a piece of paper over it and then say you drew it? That's how you bypass class time. Is you just find a picture of something and then you just trace over it and that's how you bypass class. Or just draw cubes. I'm very good at drawing cubes.
See, kids, there was a time before AI where you actually had to be creative and do things to get out of things. You know what I mean? You couldn't just ask the computer machine to do everything for you. So, no, that's great, man. No, I've certainly done that before. I had some good drawings back in the day. I was more of a writer, than a drawer. I wanted to be a sports writer at one point. Thank goodness I didn't go down that route. But what's up?
Because I heard this on the Ben Bosher show, and I kind of agree with the girl who said it. Do you think it's weird for grown men to wear another person's jersey?
What setting?
Like, you're just wearing it out in public.
I think there's context here. If I'm wearing a jersey to a sporting event, or if I am wearing a jersey to something where the jersey, then that's one thing. If I'm like the other day, I saw someone wearing like a Kobe Bryant jersey at the gym. Yeah, take that shit off. Like what are we doing? What are we doing here? First of all, grow up.
Mind you,
like,
you
put
just
on
said
an actual
you wanted to
like
wear
shirt.
Your Soviet Union jersey in public, and you didn't say to a game. So
to a hockey game, yeah. I mean, if I were to go to a Griffins game, yeah, of course I would break it out because people would be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Wear a Soviet Union jersey in public.
Because hockey people know hockey. That's why. Because they know I'm not like, hey, go Soviet Union.
A jersey from a country we still have beef with. I get the Soviet Union doesn't exist, but we still have beef with that country.
I know they're the ops, okay? I get it, man.
Yeah, let's
but
just
like,
wear the ops jersey in public. Yeah,
but
no
we're
one
not
will bat an eye at
perfect.
me or say anything to me. Yeah, I'm just going to strut down America's streets and just wear a Soviet Union jersey. Nothing will happen. But no, I do agree with her. I do think that there is something said about grown men wearing another last man or another man's name on the back of my shirt. I do think there's
or
something
at like parties or like out at the bar or something. If I come across a group of guys that are wearing like all like retro jerseys, it's like Jesus. It's like okay, here comes the Grand Valley State crew. Like Jesus Christ.
No, I still don't wear jerseys to games. By the way, I just find a T-shirt. Yeah, no, I don't. First off, jerseys are way too expensive.
Also, here's something I'll give you. If the jersey is cool or unique or I've never seen it before, I'll give you a pass. But if you're wearing like a Kobe Bryant LA Lakers jersey, I just like why? I don't know. I don't know. I think there's context here. I wouldn't say all times it's corny, but yeah, I mean if you're doing bench press,
I think it's
and
majority
you're,
corny. I think like 99.9% of the time it's corny. Like, why do I go to a Red Wings
also,
game?
are people? Yeah.
Why do I go to a Red Wings game and a
people wearing-
50-year-old's wearing like a Gordie Howe jersey? Like, dude, what? You didn't even watch him play.
That's pretty cool, though. Come on, man.
We name a bridge after him. That's good enough.
By the way, are people wearing their jerseys backwards now? I saw the pictures in that
Depends
post
on the
Instagram,
depends on the
like...
setting. If you're at a party, yes,
Interesting.
they do. But if you are out in public, no, they do not.
Why? Well, why is that the thing now? Is that like a new thing?
Because I saw it on TikTok before, people doing it being stupid, and then they think it's cool.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, that's stupid. I don't like that.
What is it? Yaxel Lenneborg wears jerseys backwards when he warms up, so maybe that's also another reason.
Interesting. All right. Well, anyways, it is corny in a lot of ways. I will certainly say that.
But let's take story, kids, is do not wear Soviet Union jerseys in public in America because you will get weird looks. But apparently, Nate's like, no, it's not weird that I wear the Ops jerseys in public. Nate is basically going to be the person to go into Ann Arbor and wear an Ohio State jersey for fun because it looked cool.
Ask Jonathan Turner when we're done with the show. Go ask him. Ask him what we did when we went down to Lower.com Field in Columbus to call a game for the UPSL. Ask him what I did. Ask him.
See if I know he's rewiring something.
There's actually a part to this story that I don't know if John even knows. So, is he on a phone call or something right now?
Okay, he's on the phone. I told Bianca
he is on the phone. Okay, so that's fine. I'll just tell you what I did. I wore a Michigan Block M beanie.
That's
through
not
the heart of downtown Columbus. Well, it counts, but it was just I'm just saying. I just thought it was funny. I know it's not a jersey.
Was jerseys?
I know it's not a jersey. I just thought you would appreciate it. I thought you'd be like, "Ha, that's funny."
No, I would agree it's funny, but it's not the same. It's not the same conversation. We're talking about jerseys.
Okay, you're right.
The hats do not matter. It's the jerseys that matter.
But I'm just saying. I'm just telling you. I got the cojones to do it.
If it's weird or not, I just need his answer.
I just got the cojones to do it. That's all.
That's fine.
So
no, it's the bean. I'm just saying jersey specific.
I would wear a Jack Hughes jersey through the middle of what's the capital of Russia?
Moscow.
Moscow. There you go. I would wear one right through the middle.
I
of
also
Moscow.
thought you were gonna go to Canada. I thought you were gonna say Canada here.
Oh, Canada, I'd be more confident in doing it. You ain't gonna do nothing in Canada. That's fine.
Oh,
just the
boy.
French people. French people don't like you there. Everybody else is cool.
What was the question again? What'd you do at Lower.com Stadium for the?
Oh yeah, Columbus. Yeah, remember when I wore my Michigan beanie down there, JT?
What did Nate wear on the way to the Columbus Crew Stadium to broadcast UPSL final? Yeah, in Columbus.
Yeah, big old Michigan beanie.
Michigan shirt? You wore a Michigan shirt? A Michigan sweater?
Sweater and a beanie.
Because Nate thought it was okay that he could wear a Soviet Union hockey jersey in public in America.
Like a hockey game.
Yeah, thinks it's okay. That's weird. You're wearing the Ops in public in America. You're rocking.
But it's a piece of sports history, though.
I don't care if it's
a piece of sports history.
It's,
They're not the Ops anymore. They've been
Ops.
collapsed for years. They've been gone for years.
How did you get a Soviet Union jersey?
Don't worry about it. Stop asking
said, "Don't
questions."
worry about it." So Nate is rocking with the Ops. He might be friends with Putin. Is what I'm hearing. He might be friends.
I got my channels. I know my people.
Have you worn it in public at all?
I have not worn it in public yet,
but he wants to.
I'm thinking about it.
His dad told him not to wear it in public, but I think that might be the reason why he wants to wear it in public. His dad's
mostly around Ukrainians. He said, not Ukrainians. Just don't wear it around them.
Russian. He's
no, hell no. Hell no.
I guess I don't understand the reason as to why you'd even want to wear it.
He doesn't. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as John. John doesn't even understand why you'd want to wear it in public. It is
Pieces.
Nate, it's like if I wore the Magic Johnson Michigan State jersey in public in Ann Arbor. But hey, it's a piece of sports history.
It is.
Nate,
You
but
might
you're
get
rocking
beat
the
up, but it's a
Ops.
piece of sports history. Thank
What?
goodness. It's
Hold
so
on,
funny.
hold on. What?
What? Oh boy. Are you trying to get him set up to come on the show right now?
Nick,
This is completely gone off the rails, man.
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Nate can hear you.
I cannot hear a word
No,
that
I
Nate is
can-
saying. That's okay.
loud and
but
clear. right.
I'm just curious. Obviously, it's probably given to you as a gift. It seems like this was a gift.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So being that's the case, completely understand that you got this thing. So are you planning on wearing it out in the world, or just like, hey, wearing around it in the house? Just chilling in the house with a Soviet Union shirt on.
Yeah, thanks for your call, John. I'll tell you this.
Yeah, what do you
He said thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call.
Yeah, I think if there was one place I'd wear it out in public, it would probably be to a hockey game specifically.
hockey
I
game.
wouldn't just wear it to the grocery store.
Will the Soviet Union be playing in that game?
No, the Soviet Union doesn't exist.
I know.
No,
I know,
no.
right?
They're
I don't know. I'd
there may be
fearful of
Russian
their safety.
players.
That's what I'm saying.
right.
It's like
So
yeah,
when
let
I
me just
do
rock
it,
the
I'll be
Ops.
with you guys. And when I do it, I'm going to be with
I'd be
you
a little-
guys,
I'd be a little
just to
concerned
make
about-
sure
He said
that I'm
he's gonna rock
protected.
it. He's gonna wear the jersey while we're with him.
Oh,
So we might have to go separate ways and be like, we're
Yes.
not associated with this guy.
No, you guys are getting beat up too.
okay.
What?
Well, hey man, hey, to each their own. Whatever you want to wear. It's an interesting, I guess, shirt or gift that someone would give you. It sounds like an inside joke. It's got like an inside a joke of some kind. Like a
No,
buddy is like, I'm
I-
gonna get this jersey for
I
you.
think Nate just likes the Soviet Union.
I
don't
had a
think
buddy
that-
who
well,
I have a buddy who has
that
one.
might-
I have
that
a
may
buddy
not
who
be
has
the case, but,
Soviet
I
Union
feel like,
jersey. He
this
played
is
it
a
when we
gift.
played
It's an
pond
inside
hockey.
joke that we're not gonna know anything ever about.
Is it an inside joke?
No, I had a
Absolutely some
friend.
kinda-
I had a friend who had a Soviet Union hockey jersey. We played pond hockey growing up. He would always wear it for those games, and it was a Tretiak
Nate-
jersey. And I'm like, that's sick.
Nate,
I need that.
this comes back to the gold question. If your friend jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge too? Just because your
It
friend wore a
depends.
jersey doesn't mean it's okay.
How high is the bridge? I don't know.
Oh my
How
God,
deep
he
is the
asked
water?
How high the bridge is.
How high is the bridge? Oh wow.
Wow, that's not where I thought this was going to go.
I think hey, you know what? Everyone has a right to support wear a jersey, I guess, that they want to wear, good, bad, or indifferent.
It's America,
I
man.
don't know
America.
where.
That ain't America, Nate. That's not America.
Well, I mean, again, typically, people get jerseys or get things for a team based on how it looks, their love for that team, right? That's typically,
Is it a looks thing?
It's a love
right?
for the
So I don't
team,
think it's a
man. They
love,
should have won.
right?
here.
I mean, especially after all the love and the admiration that Nate has for the 1980 Olympic team that won it, and how he loved the miracle.
Question.
I feel like that's kind of hypocritical, though, of his love for that game and that team.
Do you have a Miracle on Ice jersey?
No, I don't.
How do you not have that jersey, but you want to wear a Soviet Union jersey?
Because it was a gift. I didn't have to spend
right,
any money on it because I'm
This
a
is
cheap
kind of reminding me
ass.
almost like that Michigan, like Ohio State couple, like on TV. They'd have like the couple on the couch, right? And they'd be like, the woman would be like,
Oh,
Ohio
yeah.
State man in the Michigan jersey, right? That's how that
Yep.
would be.
This
This is kind of
Yep.
like this. It's like he's got the Soviet Union jersey, and over there is America's jersey.
it
Well-
makes no sense.
Very interesting. I thought this was something completely different, by the way. I walked into something that was completely random. It is totally fine,
Yep.
by the way, for someone in Michigan to wear Michigan jersey, sweater, whatever you want to call it, in the Columbus, Ohio. That is perfectly acceptable on all levels. The Soviet Union one, I don't know. I guess unless you're with the Russian dossier, I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. It's just you never know. Hey, thanks for your call. Appreciate you.
Long
Make sure you
time, first time.
give us a long time listener, first time caller.
I just got to say, you can't. Okay, you got to get a Miracle on Ice one first.
All right, okay.
I
I think
even
it would
have
be
a
also
Miracle on
funny
Ice
and
jersey.
ironic if I ran into someone with a Miracle on Ice jersey with my Soviet jersey on. It'd be we could yeah, exactly.
I
So,
even have
anyways.
a Miracle on Ice jersey.
Really? All right. Who are Ruzioni?
No, it's a fraternity style themed jersey that is
Oh,
basically
okay.
instead of USA, it has my fraternity letters on it. Yeah, super dumb. I know,
Okay.
but it's
Forgot you
basically
were
it.
forgot you were a frat guy. That's funny. Well, let's take a step aside. We come back. We'll
That
get
did
into
not go how I
something
thought it was
else
gonna go.
other than Soviet Union hockey jerseys. Man City soccer camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy to players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, these camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30. Again, that's MCNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at usacamps.mancity.com. Inside the Game rolls into its final segment here
Real quick,
on
Nate,
the.
real quick. Oh, gee, okay. So hold on. I just have a quick.
Go
I have a
ahead.
quick thing.
Go ahead.
I have a quick thing to say since we're talking about just stupid stuff at this point.
Just nonsense. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
So I commented on Woodward Sports. They did Cassius Winston Duke versus Michigan State. I think it was a couple days ago or something, and I just commented Trey Burke clears this guy. Just threw it out there. It's because I know the people who run the account. I know they'd probably get a laugh at it or something. So I just said it, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I get high school kids. They've never stepped foot in a college class yet. That are telling me that CMU alum checks out. You went to CMU. You basically went to a community school. How in the world are you talking shit to a kid who graduated from college, yet you guys haven't even graduated high school yet? Then asking me if I'm a high school dropout. I would not be at a college if I was a high school dropout.
Yep. Yeah. No, that would make sense.
This makes no sense to me. How can you sit there and make fun of a kid who graduated from a college, yet you guys probably haven't even gotten into? And I comment on one of them. I go, when you start the college application process, you will realize that 95% of the schools you thought were difficult to get into really aren't that difficult to get into. The only difficult ones that I get into are the Ivy Leagues and the Michigans, I guess, of the world. Michigan State. Yeah. No disrespect out there. It's not the toughest school in the world to get into. There were kids who were way dumber than me in high school that are students there. And just like Ohio State ain't difficult to get into. Just saying, 95% of the schools you apply to are not difficult. Vanderbilt, Northwestern, probably difficult to get into. Michigan, probably difficult to get into. Notre Dame, shout out you, Schrock, if you're in there. I haven't seen you today, but shout out to you. Notre Dame, difficult to get into. But majority of these schools, for the kids out there, It's not that difficult, guys. It's not that difficult to get into 95
for liberal arts degrees and a lot of those things along those lines. Now, obviously, if you want to be an engineer or a doctor or whatever, like Michigan, those schools at Michigan State are tough. But overall, I think it's 88% acceptance rate at Michigan State, anywhere from 86 to 88%. Michigan's, I believe, is 15%. And even that might be limited for certain demographics and certain groups of people. So yeah, no, it's not even
correct, Nate.
It's not even in the same conversation. You know what's funny about that whole did you go to Michigan conversation?
16% for Michigan. Look at you.
Yeah. But believe me, I really cared once upon a time. I was like, I want to go to Michigan. I was not smart enough to go to Michigan. I was not even close. Yeah.
Ohio State's not even classified as a good school.
Do you realize the only fan base that is obsessed?
Yes, I know where you're going.
Asking the question of did you go to that school is Michigan State fans with Michigan. Even Ohio State fans, I don't really think care to mention it all that much. Like they don't really care.
So
it's all Sparty fans. It's all of them.
I've asked this question to a lot of my Michigan State alum. I've asked this exact question. I go, why do you care about where you went to? And I've come to this conclusion. I have come to two conclusions after all of my research and findings. Either A, they're insecure and they want to feel superior because they know that they're not bigger than Michigan. They're not bigger. I think it's an insecurity thing. And number two, I think that they just have nothing else to talk about because their sports teams are so bad that they just have to talk about this because it makes them feel good inside. Because
this is how
because football sucks, hockey chokes, basketball chokes.
This is how it goes when you lose arguments or when you feel as if that you have nothing else to go on.
You just want to argue
you argue qualifications. It's the first thing that everyone does. You either attack the other person's character or you argue their qualifications. Like when you feel like backed into it, you're like, well, I blah 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 blah. I've done all this, or I actually graduated from there. That's all it is. So if you can't say that you suck, that the other team sucks, because let's just say if Michigan State was during the D'Antonio era, would they really even care if Michigan fans went to Michigan? No, they wouldn't. It wouldn't even be something they bring up. But if you feel insecure about how your sports teams are doing or how they flamed out, or maybe just in a moment like, hey, we got bounced out of the tournament. Well, you didn't even go to Michigan. That's just simply because you don't have anything else to go off of. Also I got to mention this. I hate this crap when people are like, you can't say we. You're not on the team. Hey, dumbass. They wouldn't exist if it wasn't for us.
Yeah,
okay?
that's true.
They wouldn't exist if it wasn't for our money and our time and what we spend on them. They certainly wouldn't be making the amount of money they're making. Yes. Okay? So stop with that garbage. Yes, it's we, okay? I've paid money for tickets before. It's we. Anyways, go ahead.
I was going to also say, if Michigan basketball didn't have the whole renaissance that it had under Beeline, and eventually Juwan won a banner, and then even Dusty's turned it into what it is today. I mean, I don't think we have this conversation either, because for a long time, Michigan State, this was their sport. Michigan was just an afterthought.
Yep.
Like, Michigan was just the little brother down the street that just couldn't win at all.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Izzo's like, this rivalry needs to get back to something. Then Beeline shows up, and Izzo's like, I don't really like this. You're telling me I'm not the best team in my state anymore? And then Dusty May shows up, and it's, I ain't no one's damn little brother. Tom, this comment existed like 20 years ago. Now we're going to talk about it?
Yeah, right.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is reeked of an insecurity thing from that program. And I mean, it's tough to see a legend like Izzo go to the, like, you would think he would be above something like that. You would think he would be above something like that.
Yes,
like I've been here, I've done that. Yes, I've been swept by Michigan in the regular season before. It is what it is. It's not the first time it's ever happened, but like that's the thing. Like, he's taking the bait, and that's the part of me where I'm like, is Coach Izzo starting to slip a little bit because he's starting to take the bait now more than ever before? Like, typically coaches are like, no, we don't pay attention to that stuff. All that rah-rah nonsense, we don't pay attention to that. We're focused on what we do. Izzo was locked into it from day one, especially with the Michigan stuff. I mean, it was the pettiness around it was like, I don't know. Like, I would just think that Izzo would be above all of that and would not play into that. But he played directly into Michigan's hand by being as insecure in front of the microphone and in front of the media as he was. Like, he played directly into their hand.
Like, I'm just looking at it. There's, like, when I heard that press conference, I was doing a game here, and I just left, and I go, Izzo bought into this? Izzo said, I'm not nobody's damn little brother? Tom, they have chanted "little brother" inside inside Chrysler Arena.
Little Chrysler.
Little Chrysler. It's which is weird. Everyone says it's a library, and that's not necessarily true. They just decide they just show up late. Anyway. Inside they've chanted "little brother" inside Chrysler for a handful of times. So now we're gonna get upset now because you guys got dog walked by Michigan twice. Like, they weren't close games. You led at some point, but they weren't close in totality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's just weird. I would be more troubled by that if I was a Michigan State fan, seeing my Hall of Fame head coach given to the rage bait that was being done by Michigan. And so, anyways, I understand the hate, but I just feel as if I feel as if he was kind of pulled in by that, which you don't expect a Hall of Fame head coach to buy into the BS quite like he did. And so, who knows? That's something they got to figure out. But anyways, you want to get into the question of the day? I know we're 10 minutes away from wrapping this thing up here, but
we
the
missed
whole
the Ragnow situation.
Yeah.
So, let's go into that. Let's go in question of the day.
Okay.
Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off of that #1 smell-proof cleat bag that 100% works. Scan that QR code on your screen or visit saltathletic.com today. We talked about Italy being a downfall. Name a big downfall for a team in sports history? A team where it was like, they were so good for such a long time, and then all of a sudden, everything has just fallen by the wayside.
Not in the way that they're not relevant anymore, because they're always relevant, but in the way of they're not what they were, which was one of the most dominant dynasties in the history of the league at the time that they were. I would probably either go with the Steelers or the Cowboys. And the Steelers have the most Super Bowl championships in league history. And even me growing up, like Jerome Bettis was like one of my first favorite NFL players to watch
We've been
play.
giving Notre Dame a lot of love today.
Yeah, there you go. But, there is a team that, I understand Mike Tomlin's a good coach. He's always been a good coach, but they are so horribly 500. And have been so horribly 500 really since AB left. I mean, since AB, he had his mental break and Roethlisberger was out of there. Like, it just kind of But also the Cowboys, too. I mean, the Cowboys during their heyday, the way that they were put together, I mean, I've always talked about this. Like, put Emmitt Smith behind, like, the Lions line, like the same Lions line that Barry had. Like, is he even close to the same running back he was in his career? No, not even close. So those teams were bulldozers. And now you look at the Cowboys, and it's the same thing every damn year. It's the expectations. Jerry doesn't pay the right people. We end up flaming out either in the playoffs, or Dak ends up throwing 5 interceptions. Something happens, and they end up, but they're still America's team. Like, they're still the most popular team in the United States, but they've been a perpetual disappointment. And so I would certainly put the Cowboys in that conversation too. But yeah, I was thinking of other teams, and I don't know. I mean, the Knicks, I guess they weren't great ever, unless you want to consider the 70s. I don't know.
The Knicks are just a brand
who's on your list?
Just suck.
Yeah.
So
it's just New York. Yeah.
I was gonna go the Red Wings, because they made the playoffs for 25 years there, 4 Stanley Cups inside 11 years,
right?
And then a couple of other trips to the Stanley Cup. I mean, they made like the Western Conference Finals.
I'd say the Pistons too. The Pistons would be a really good one.
Yeah, but I mean, now they're starting.
They're good now, exactly. Yeah.
I'd say they're starting to get good now. I mean, the Red Wings still can't make the playoffs to save their lives. But then I did have another one. What did I tell you before the show? There was another team I had before the show.
as a soccer team. I mean, you could say Madrid.
I would say, Man United's
Or
another big
Man
downfall.
United. That's what I meant. Man United. Yeah.
Man United
Yep.
is such a downfall to
Yep.
think about all the greats they had. They had the most Premier
Mhm.
League titles. They won, it felt like, every single year. And then Fergie left, which we talked about on the TikTok live yesterday. Again, there's just some random things that I talked about I didn't even expect to talk about. We talked about corner
Mhm.
kicks and all that fun stuff. I'm going to do that more often. So if you guys ever get bored at night, I'm going to be on TikTok live talking some ball on the TikTok account. But no, that was United is like their fall from grace is insane. If you think about it, like they were winning leagues every single year. They were winning a trophy like every single year. The greats that were at this club, the likes of Wayne Rooney, Cantona, Beckham, not Gary Neville. He's just annoying. Roy Keane. As much as I hate him, he was a good player. But this, just everyone. Like this team is it's toxic from the core of the club, from the owners, the stadium's deteriorating. Like you have waterfalls coming out off the stadium roof now into the stands. Like people have to move because they don't want to get drenched in water anymore. Like that club is just downfall.
Yeah, so it's to go from being like championship level to just like in the gutter is a really hard one to think about, because I mean there are teams that go through periods of being relevant and periods of being irrelevant, but it's like not quite to the extent of like, completely falling off. Like, you could say Notre Dame, but Notre Dame's made a national championship. Like they're always good, but they just haven't gotten the job done.
They just don't do anything. They don't beat anyone good. That's Schrock. That's also why Notre Dame's good. Even though I know you're not here, but that's the reason Notre Dame's good is because they schedule the Naval Academy, the military academies every year. But hey, Navy's good every year.
Yeah. Or like Texas and Oklahoma used to run college football. Like they were really, really good. Now it's like
that's another
Nebraska.
one. Nebraska.
Yeah, you know what?
With Tom Osborne.
That's one. Yeah, that's probably the best one in college. That's probably the best college football example.
Tom Osborne, and then like they were winning natties. I think they had like 3 natties in like 5 years. And then
they went back to back. Yeah, I think they're one of the only teams that's gone like back to back. Well, not one of the only, but one of the few, I should say.
I don't think Saban ever went back to back. Did he? I don't think
Saban
ever
ever go back to back.
I don't think.
I thought it was on like wasn't it like once every 3 years? It was like on the same trajectory, like literally one every 3 years he would win.
But I don't think they ever went back to back.
Teams who won back to back.
They went back to back natties, but they never won. Because 2020, no, because that was LSU the year before that. Then they'd split.
Oh no,
Clemson.
Bama did.
They did.
Bama did. Yeah, 2011, 2012.
Oh, so the beginning of the dynasty. Okay.
Yeah. So Georgia, Bama, but Nebraska's the only team. Okay, so Georgia, Bama, Nebraska, Oklahoma.
Did Michigan go back to back in like the 20s?
No. Oddly enough, Michigan State's on this list. 1965, 1966. Got 2 straight there.
Is that their last national championship in football? 66.
I think 1966. Yep. Unless you want to, the Rose Bowl wasn't really a national championship, but they have a Rose Bowl. But yeah, USC went back to back. Alabama's gone back to back 3 separate times. Bear Bryant went back to back twice. USC went back to back. Nebraska, Oklahoma, Michigan State, Notre Dame in the 40s, Army in the 40s, and Minnesota, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Minnesota's like in the top 5 in terms of national titles, but it was all like in the 30s, like 20s and 30s. Anyways, Minnesota used to be really good, but now no one wants to go play in the damn cold. Plus, the South has grown a lot in the last 70, 80 years. So probably because we destroyed everything during the Civil War. Anyways, but that's I think Nebraska, at least from a football perspective, that's probably the best one of all the ones that we've listed off. Yeah.
They haven't done anything in like 30 years.
Yeah, like even baseball examples, I can't really think of many where they've just gone straight to irrelevance. I know the Rockies were okay for a while, but not really like dominant dynasty type things. So probably Nebraska, our good friends at Nebraska. If only your fans were a little bit more stomachable, then I wouldn't I wouldn't mind really as much. But yeah. So anyways, that wraps up your episode. that breaks episode 261. We went off the rails today. Fair enough, but it was a good show nonetheless. So we appreciate you guys, as always, stopping back in. Yeah, National Soccer Network, Sports Nation, PMG on social media. We are blowing up at the moment with
also,
some of our videos. So
check out our social media today. John and I and Sam Fisher will be in Grand Blanc tonight for DCFC Flint City US Open Cup. Should be a blast. But just check out for social medias that way. It's just going to be cold, which is crazy to think that it was 70 degrees the last couple of days, and now it's freezing. So, yay, Michigan.
We'll get out of it here at some point. But, yeah, go check them out, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow for 262 here on Inside the Game.
From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wenger bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.